named teachers years ago. Arnold Mindell here is just one of the most evolved persons I know in my life. Of all the people I've met, including Mother Teresa, who I did meet in East Africa when I worked there one time, he's on that level of personal development. He's a physicist who became a psychologist when he went to Zurich, Switzerland to get his doctorate in thermodynamics, and he met the nephew of Carl Jung. So he integrated physics that he got from MIT with Jungian psychology, so he's a hard skill, soft skill guy, one of my favorite kind, right? He's a scientist with the heart of a therapist and a phenomenal consultant. And he was invited to consult with some mental health workers at this very prestigious association. And he knocked on the door to come in, opened the door, got invited in, and then the leader said to him, "We don't need you, get out of here." All right, he's going to consult with 25 people, he's flown to this city, "We don't need you, get out of here." Now his amygdala has to kick in. Now what would yours do? Fight, flight, or freeze, right? I might fight, I'm a bit of a fighter, I might say, wait a minute, we have a contract. Some of you might leave, some of you might freeze. He did something different, he engaged. And he looked at the guy and he said, wow. He said, I feel, now remember he's with mental health workers, so you got to use the language of the culture you're in. He's with mental health workers and he says, "I feel like I'm going to cry now." and if I feel like I'm going to cry, I wonder how those who feel about working with you and your dominating style. And a woman spoke up and said, "Yeah, that's what he does. He dominates. That's what he does. We need you to fight him. We need you to take him on." All right, now Mindell is about 5'8", 138 pounds. All right, now he is a black belt martial artist, but he looks like he'd get beat up by anyone. And he says, I can't fight this guy. He says, all I have is feelings. All I have is my awareness and my feelings. I can't fight him. The conversation went on. He was invited to stay, and they had an amazing 2 days together. Now that is brilliant emotional intelligence. Why? First of all, he knew his own experience. All right? He knew he felt like he was going to cry. He was hurt. He was hurt. This guy said, "We don't need you, get out of here." He owned his own feeling. Brilliant. He expressed it in a language that they all understood and knew. Tears, crying. Then he addressed his attacker. You know, I wonder how the others feel working with you with your dominating style. Amazing. And he did it with gentleness. He didn't do it with anger. This is a guy who has very small hot buttons. Tiny. Right? He's done a lot of processing. Let's say he's burned a lot of his own wood and he's prepared to speak to his attacker with compassion. And then he remembers the group. How does your group feel about working with you? That's the position of an elder. And all of you, even though you might feel like the chicken, you're eagles. You're all elders. In my mind, you're all elders. You're just growing into your eldership. Mindell held the whole field through his awareness, through his emotional intelligence. He had an amazing intervention that led to a breakthrough with this group. And I know every one of you has that capacity to do that.